I want to talk about something that's very important. This is a mistake that I used to make all the time early in my career, and that is asking people to do something without providing a reason. Now, when I first started my career, I was working at a small company. At small companies, it's all about how quickly you can get things done and how efficiently. And sometimes what ends up falling by the wayside is the politics, the niceties, the politeness. So the problem is that when you ask people to do something without giving a reason, they can imagine all sorts of bad reasons why you're asking. You're asking because you want them to look bad, you're asking because you're telling them they did a bad job, or they might just think you're dumb and think, oh, why are they asking me to do this? It's a bad decision to make. They might also think that when you ask them for something, you're going to spam them or you're going to do something malicious with the information that you're given, or whatever it is that you're given. So a very specific example of this in product marketing is asking for someone's email. People do not like providing their email because they think they're going to get bombarded with marketing messages that they're not interested in. So one of the most effective ways to capture someone's email is to simply say, please provide an email so that we know where to send this white paper, or we know where to send the webinar invitation, or we know where to send the calendar confirmation for a demo or something like that. Now, there's been some really interesting research by Dr. Robert Cialdini that shows that simply providing a reason, even if that reason is arbitrary or almost meaningless, increases compliance with what you're asking for significantly. So one of the studies that was done was there were people waiting in line, and he would have people try to cut in line and say, excuse me, can I get ahead? Versus, excuse me, can I get ahead because I'm in a rush? And simply providing the reason, as ridiculous as I'm in a rush or I'd like to be in the front, as silly as it sounds, people are more likely to comply. And one of the reasons is that they're looking for rationality. They want justification for why they're doing something. And when you provide a reason, it's very effective. A good example that I find, because I travel internationally all the time and I'm looking at signage. And often there's signs in bathrooms that say things like, do not put tissue in the toilet. And in some countries or some municipalities, it just says, do not do this. It's a very authoritative approach, which doesn't work in a lot of countries. So when you're in countries maybe like Israel or the United States, where you might encounter people that are resistant to authority because the power distance is smaller in these countries. So what you have to do, or what you should do to get compliance, is provide reasons. Okay, do not put the tissue in the toilet because it's going to clog, or because our pipes are particularly small, something like that. So you can see how this plays out in your marketing messages. You're not just telling users what to do, you're telling them and providing justification. Okay, here's the benefit of doing that, or you should do this because we want to give you why. Now, this also plays out politically internally. So, for example, I was a global product marketing manager for Sony PlayStation. I had to work with a lot of people that I did not have direct authority over. So people in other departments or other specialties in London or Tokyo or wherever. And what I used to do is I tried to be efficient. I just said, this is what I would like to happen. And I didn't provide reasons. But when I started providing reasons, then not only are people less suspicious of what I'm asking for, and not only are they more interested in hearing what I have to say, but they're also just giving me better results. By giving context for what I'm asking for, they're better able to fulfill what my request is. So providing that clarity, providing reasons, is going to have a substantial impact on your product marketing.